from this area and beyond, but I'll give you a brief entrance into what happened here. We have a simple impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a 1, and then a flat ABC into a 2. And from here, there's two different scenarios. We're either extending in a large wave 3, or we're finishing a 1 into another 2. So I'm going to turn off these, and we'll start with my preferred alternate, the very extreme bullish scenario. What this would look like. For simple terms, we have our initial 1, 2, which would mean we are starting our third now, a large extended third. With targets most likely up here at least at the 3618 to the 4618. Now that's just a trend-based fib extension from the base of 1 to the top of 1 to the end of 2. And that will give you those targets. And if this is the case, we will already have completed our first initial 1 and our 2, which would take us to a minimum target, the 1.618, around 77K, which coincides with the minimum target you would want to see from this larger 1, 2, 3 at around 80K. And that would bring us up into our intermediate 3, where we would pull back, go sideways for a bit in a 4, finish off in a 5, to complete the larger 3, which we would then pull back, consolidate in another 4, and head up and finish our 5th. And that would be the entire bull cycle. It would probably stay within this parabolic line that everyone likes to say we're in a parabola and stuff like that. So we would have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ending somewhere probably in early 2025, or yeah, somewhere in this area, most likely, depending. But this is basically what it would look like. Practically the same exact thing we've done. For how many days has this been? We'll say almost 500 for another 500 days. Where would that take us? Actually, halfway through 2025, so it would take some time. But practically it'd be the same exact thing all the way up. Now this is my alternate scenario because it just seems unlikely based on a few things. If we go to look at the weekly RSI, where are we at right now? We're already in the 80 levels on the weekly. Now do you expect this thing to just continue to go up? No, most likely we need this thing to reset down into at least the 50 before we can really get that extension up. Sorry about that. And so let's toggle this off. Go back to the daily. Turn off this alternate count. We're going to look deeper into the primary count that I have here. Let me turn off some of this stuff because it's too much. Turn off the channel and the pitchfork. Let's zoom in to right here. I have a basic 1, 2 off these lows. And there's a couple ways to count this. 1, 2, 3, and then a large expanded flat and a very lengthy 4. Just the only downside of this 4 is that it's about 7.5 times the length of this wave 2 down here. which makes it a little less probable to play out. But we have an alternate scenario as well, where the 3 is moved over here, and you can get a 5-way expanding diagonal type structure in this area, and then we have a quick little 4. Either way, I like the look of this, even though it might not be probability wise the most sound. If so, we can always move this 3 to this area. We have a simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a 3, expanded flat into a 4. But really, whatever we have done in this area, we have started a new impulse, which in this super bullish scenario would be that 1, 2 already complete, or this is the final move of a larger 1. We're in the 5th wave of the 5th wave, sucking everyone in, getting all those last buyers in a final stage of euphoria. And if you look at it from a liquidity perspective, what's really up here? There's not much left liquidity to grab up here. Really just a tiny bit in the 58 to 60K-ish range. Where's all the liquidity at? It's all below us. From about 32 to 40K zone. So this is another thing that makes me think, why would we just keep pushing up when there's so much liquidity below us? It wouldn't really make sense to just keep blasting 70, 80, 90, 100K. There's nothing up there for the market makers to grab. This is a reason why I think we're actually topping out here pretty soon. We're going to sweep this last liquidity. We're going to start making our way back to the 40 to 30K range to pick all this up. Now what would that look like? It would look exactly like this. Here we have a 1, 2, 3rd impulse, 4th, and we're finishing this 5th impulse. Now let's zoom in onto the 1 hour. It was a simple 1, 2 into a large 3 again. We tapped the 4, 6, 1, 8. Let's go down to the 30-minute. Potentially this is where our 3rd has ended, and right now it looks like we may be completing another little flat structure. We go down, sweep the lows, or sweep the highs very briefly for liquidity, and then we're going to come down and most likely take this low right here at the 1.05 extension. Sweep the lows for liquidity, and that will complete our wave 4, where we will have one more move up into this level right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Complete our final 5-wave move of the minor 5th wave, of the larger 5th wave, of the larger 5th wave, to create a larger 1. And that most likely would bring us into where all these extensions are sat at. The 5th wave extensions in multiple different ways, all right around 61.5K. You'll also see I have this monthly level up here. This level right here will be key. Monthly level. What's up here as well in terms of volume? We have a value area high right above that. and a little bit of a volume gap right in that area. You could also consider this white line a volume area high, or a value area high. Let's go back down to the 1 hour. Delete this. So we're going to complete this 5th wave up. And if that happens, zoom back out, we will have completed a proper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure, which is the end of something. So what you would have is this 1, 2, like from earlier. We'll put these 3, 4, 5s off to the side. And then we would have a large, this would create a larger 1, which means we would need to have a corrective 2. Whoops, where'd it go? Sorry about that. We'd have a larger 1, which means we need to have a corrective 2. Now because this 1, 2 was sideways and shallow, most likely you would be looking for a sharp and quick zigzag in this wave 2. Go down to the 4 hour and we pull a simple fib retracement from the start of this one and say it tops at 61.5K. Toggle on the 618 and the 786. This brings us into the liquidity zone we are after. And if you notice right here, there's a gap in price. This is called a fair value gap. Price usually likes to return to these areas eventually to fill the gap and equalize price. So if we were to come down here, it would be a terrorizing event for most people. Most likely in a zigzag structure too. Very sharp, very scary. But all we would be doing is resetting indicators on the weekly, on the monthly, grabbing liquidity and hitting key fib levels just so we can really reverse out of here into the final 3rd wave of the bull run, which would really extend us up to where we want to go eventually. So that's what I'm looking at here. This is just an update mostly for myself. If other people like what they see, then feel free to comment or subscribe or tag along, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for, guys. We'll toggle this off. Toggle back on the alternate count. If that doesn't happen and we blast through that 61.5 area, you don't see any resistance, just keep chugging. Or if we complete a 5 wave move into another one, retrace for another little 2, as long as we stay above these highs right here, you're most likely looking at chugging up to these levels in this hyper bullish count. Now, I don't think this is the likely outcome based on liquidity, and like I said, a lot of weekly indicators are severely extended. The fear and greed index is in pure euphoria. All this bullish news is coming out. You know, every YouTube video is that we're about to blast. We're about to go in this parabola straight up line. You know, it'd just be really weird that the Moon Boys win. And there's never any pullbacks. It just goes up in a straight line, basically. So that's all I got for today, guys. let me know what you think, and have a good one.